The Sharks might have found their new second line center in William Eklund. So we're discussing all that and more on today's episode.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast of your favorite, tanking-ish, bad team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, contributor at San Jose Hockey Now, and I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Probably part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. If you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just follow wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well. And our Swedish child, William Eklund, takes another huge step tonight, making his debut as center. And he might have stolen Logan Couture's job, Mikael Granlund's job. He might be your new 2C behind Tomas Hertl when Hertl gets back. Man. And but we got to start with the beginning. The Sharks won this game 2-0. Shutout. Mackenzie Blackwood getting the Sharks' first shutout of the season as they hung in there for the first two periods. Looked very sluggish, but then William Eklund kind of ignites the Sharks in the third period as they come out with some energy, find some gas, juice, whatever you want to call it. William Eklund the catalyst for the Sharks win as the Sharks win 2-0 behind Jan Ruda and Marc-Edouard Vlasic goals. Who needs Erik Karlsson? But the story of tonight, yes, Blackwood had a shutout. Blackwood was amazing. Blackwood kept the Sharks in this game, especially for the first two periods while they kind of figured things out and kind of hung in there and got their legs going. But William Eklund was the story of tonight's game. In his first game as a center, and since he's come to San Jose, right, he has been playing on the wing, playing on the left wing, all throughout his time at the Barracuda. Anytime he's been in the NHL, he's played on the left wing. I was very skeptical about this move because, even going back to his draft profile, he was drafted as a center. But a lot of very smart people said, I think he's more of a winger, and he could be a winger in the long run, especially when the Sharks continue to add pieces down the middle, Will Smith, et cetera. But he got a taste of the second line center tonight, especially with Tomas Hertl being out, and he was the Sharks' best skater. We'll put it that way. He was the Sharks' best skater tonight. Just having the puck on his stick more and allowing him you're putting him in a position to succeed by giving him the puck and letting him make decisions. And he's really good at doing that. The goal that Marc-Edouard Vlasic scores. Great shot by Vlasic. Awesome job by him. Vlasic has been, I think we can have a conversation at some point soon about if Vlasic has maybe earned his keep going into next season. But that's all William Eklund. William Eklund gets into the defensive zone, weaves through like almost Connor McDavid status. Almost. I'm not saying William Eklund's Connor McDavid, but almost Connor McDavid just weaves through the entire neutral zone, through all five Kraken skaters, gets hooked, should have drawn a penalty. The Sharks, if they had not scored there, that should have been a power play opportunity for the Sharks. Gets it, sends it back to the point, is able to, and then which then leads to the goal. Secondary assist for Mr. Eklund there. 2 minutes later, back on the ice, gets the puck in the neutral zone, drives head of speed, gets some speed, goes towards the defender, the patented William Eklund spinny, creates some space, and then is able to drive to the goaltender and create a high danger chance there. Not a shot, but a high danger chance, which then leads to more Sharks ruckus there. Even you saw the way David Quinn lately has really figured out his roster and the way to utilize them. And I was really curious to see how the Sharks would use Eklund, right? Especially at center. Um, he's been okay-ish at faceoffs when he's had to come in, but tonight kind of being the main faceoff guy, and you could tell he kind of struggled, right? Early. He hasn't had to take faceoffs in a while, but whenever Quinn wanted to get Eklund out there, but it was a defensive zone start, he would put Nico Sturm, who behind Tomas Hertl is the best face-off guy, and I'm very much face-offs in the long run don't matter, but in key points. But put Sturm out there, they win the draw, and as soon as they get out, Sturm comes off and Duclair comes on. That's just like really smart coaching, right? Putting this is a lot for a young player. And I fully expect, if the Sharks continue to have William Eklund as a center, I fully expect him to spend the entire summer just taking faceoffs, taking draws, and just coming back and just being like really good at, and working with Nico Sturm every day and just being really good at, like, I wouldn't be surprised if by next year Eklund is, an average faceoff guy. Like he's got that mentality of like, it's almost like LeBron or Michael Jordan again. Like LeBron or Michael Jordan, where they just go off in the summer and they're like, I'm going to become really good at this one thing that I need to work on. I wouldn't be surprised if Eklund's just like, I'm going to spend every day of the summer just taking like 500 faceoffs and just practicing it every day. Poor Mama Eklund, she's going to be dropping the puck all day long. But sorry. But I think that's what he's going to do, because he's like, okay, this is what, if I'm going to continue to just be awesome, if I want to be the player I think that I can be, and think that all of us think that he's going to be, this is the thing I got to work on, so that way I can play all situations. And yeah, and I know team tank, et cetera, but you look at tonight, who was their best, who was like kind of generally the Sharks' best players, right? William Eklund, Mackenzie Blackwood, and Shakir Mukhamadullin. Mukhamadullin continues, like, you could argue he was the best defenseman on the Sharks, and he has been the best defenseman for the past 2 games. And yes, it's a 2-game sample size. He's going to be so awesome. Like, he is going to be so good. Like, you can just go ahead and put him in. He's going to be in the starting lineup next year. He's going to be so good for the Sharks. And again, David Quinn kind of taking the lessons from this year. If you remember, kind of one of those games, I think right around the Christmas time, where the Sharks were trying to hold a lead, and they kind of threw out some of the old defensemen, and they ended up losing the lead, right? Especially because, and then if you remember the game before, Henry Thrun was out there, held down the lead. I think that was the Montreal game, if I remember correctly. Sharks had a 2-goal lead. Henry Thrun played like a ton of minutes down the end. Even empty net situation, Henry Thrun was out there, and the Sharks held on to the lead. I know Henry Thrun's not out, but Quinn knows, guess what? Mukhamadullin he's been my best defenseman. I'm going to put him out there with Jan Ruda. Jan Ruda, those 2 guys have been playing really well. I'm going to put him out there and get him a taste of this right here. Sharks are up 1, trying to hold a lead. The Kraken are pushing hard. I'm going to put out Zetterlund, Couture, Eklund, Jan Ruda, and Shakir Mukhamadullin. You guys go win this game for us. Go hold this game down. And they did it, right? That's learning experiences for Eklund. That's learning experiences for Zetterlund. You have a guy like Couture who's been there, done that. A guy like Jan Ruda has been there, done that, where they can lean on these guys. And then a learning experience for Shakir Mukhamadullin. That is trusting your best players, no matter how young or old they are, to go out there and try to finish this game off. And they reward you with Zetterlund almost like hits the post on an empty netter, and Jan Ruda ices it. This was, again, you're getting contributions for your young players. And yes, if you're going to like win games in this time of year, and there's a 2-point difference between Chicago and San Jose, and after tomorrow, Chicago will have a game in hand, and Connor Bedard is going to come back at some point. But you're getting contributions from your soon-to-be franchise players, your Shakir Mukhamadullins, your William Eklunds, your Fabian Zetterlands. Like, This is what you want, Sharks fans. You want your young players performing well. And if they earn some wins along the way, then they earn some wins along the way, right? If you're going to get some wins, at least have your young players play well. And yes, I know Ruda and Vlasic scored, but watching the game, right, you saw it was the young guys driving the way. It was Eklund driving the way. Zetterlund, has maybe not his best game tonight, but Zetterlund's been great all season long. Shakir Mukhamadullin showing, you know what? Maybe this Timo Meier trade is going to work out for the Sharks in the long run. Yeah, man, this is why William Eklund's going to be a superstar, guys. Stuff like this. Anyway, we're going to dig into the numbers here, kind of look at how this Eklund line actually performed, especially compared to the rest of the Sharks line, and kind of how the Sharks really came alive in this third period, because it was absolutely dreadful. So we'll do that here in just 1 second. I know we come to talk sports and escape from all the crazy realities of life, but can we talk about, for 1 minute, being prepared for real life? According to FDA, pharmacies are running out of antibiotics right in the middle of the worst flu season in over a decade. I know the holiday season's over, but you might still be traveling. I know I'm traveling a lot lately, going up to San Jose. The last thing you want to do is be unprepared to take care of yourself or a loved one if you fall ill. Jace Medical can give you the peace of mind even before you hop in the car, hop on a flight. Jace Medical is packed with 5 different antibiotics to beat a long list of bacterial infections, including UTIs, respiratory infections, sinusitis, skin infections, among others. This stuff could happen to any of us. So visit jacemedical.com, complete your physician encounter. It'll be reviewed by a board-certified physician, and your medications will be dispensed at a local pharmacy at the fraction of their regular cost. It's never been more important to be prepared than today. So go to jacemedical.com, use code LOCKEDON to get $20 off your order. And the Super Bowl is set. Of course, the San Francisco 49ers are going to be playing the Kansas City Chiefs, and FanDuel has got you covered because they're America's #1 sports book. If you're like me, Super Bowl Sunday, it's a very bittersweet day. One, it's enjoy watching the last game, but then you also know it's the last game of the season. So I like to make sure I go all out, right? Got the Traeger going, sitting on the couch. I got the sound bar on, everything ready to go. I'm super excited. And FanDuel, they're going to have you covered with more than one way to earn a W. You can do that by betting on Super Bowl 58 with FanDuel. There's plenty of player props, odds, whatever you're looking for. FanDuel has got you covered. Again, I love the Christian McCaffrey scoring a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown. I think McCaffrey's going to have himself a monster day. Right now, new customers join today and get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL. All right, so let's dig into the numbers of the Sharks' 2-0 win over the Seattle Kraken. Again, Mackenzie Blackwood, first shutout of the season for the Sharks, first shutout since March, which I forgot they shut out the Winnipeg Jets at the end of last season. But for the numbers, again, the Kraken really kind of controlled the pace the first 2 periods, and then things kind of turned around in the third period as the Sharks kind of really took it to the Kraken in the beginning. The Kraken down 1-0, tried to kind of come back. But 54-26, pretty even game when it comes to penalties. Both teams got 1 power play, which of course neither one of them scored. And then you had some empty net situation time at the end. So we had 54-26 of 5v5 time. 60-41 shot attempts in favor of the Kraken. Really, really supported by the first period where it's 19-9 in favor of the Kraken. And then things kind of started to even up a little bit here. So, but Corsi 4 ended up being 59.41 to 40.59. Actual shots at 5v5 was 29-20. Of course, in favor of the Kraken, 34-19 scoring chances in favor of the Kraken, and 12-9 high danger chances Expected goals for 2.94 to 2.09. And it's really crazy because, like, the Sharks, again, didn't do very much in the first period, but really came alive in the second period. They actually had more expected goals than the Kraken at 1.17 to 1.16. Very even, but slight edge to the Sharks there, as especially that kind of the beginning of the beginning of the third period, where the Sharks again really kind of took it to the Kraken. So Lions tonight, again, natural stat trick. They don't have Jacob McDonald as a forward, so the Lions aren't true lines, but we'll try to kind of put them together as best we can. So we had Barabanov, Eklund, Duclair, Zetterlund, Couture, Hoffman, Zadina, Carpenter, Bailey, and then Sturm, Cunnin, and then Jacob McDonald. So I'll kind of pull up those guys individual Corsi 4 here. We can kind of try to put things together a little bit. But for the Sharks, the line that played the most, of course, was the Eklund, Barabanov, Duclair line. And they had a pretty good night. 13 to 12 shot attempts. Again, Sharks were, outshot by a good chunk for this game. 5 to 6 actual shots, a 1 goal for, thanks to Mr. Eklund, 0.51 to 0.75 expected goals for. Again, this line is not going to be defensively responsible, right? Barabanov, Eklund, Duclair. Eklund's maybe the best defender, and he's 21 years old, playing in his first game as center. So this line is very much an all gas, no breaks type of line. But 6 scoring chances for, 8 allowed, 3 to 4 high danger chances, 6-3-1 zone starts. So again, kind of going back to that David Quinn trying to protect this line as best he can, but also knowing this line is going to be kind of the line I have to ride to win this game. Zetterlund, Couture, Hoffman played 10.55, 6 to 12 shot attempts, 4 to 6 actual shots on goal, 0.41 to 0.37, 2 to 6 high danger chances, 2 to 6 scoring chances, 1-to-1 high danger chances, 2-4-8 zone starts. So this line really got the brunt of the defensive zone starts, which would make sense, right? Zetterlund, Couture, Hoffman, like veterans, with the exception, of Zetterlund. Again, trying to kind of protect the Eklund line as best as you can. And although they kind of got outshot and outchanced, I think they were the quality over quantity. We'll let you guys take some shots, etc. But we're gonna kind of tighten up when we need to. And they did a pretty solid job of that. Zadina, Carpenter, Bailey played 7.37, 11 to 8 shot attempts in favor of that line, 5 to 3 actual shots on goal, 0.65 to 0.33 expected goals for, 5 to 5 scoring chances, 2 to 2 high danger chances, with 3-4-3 zone starts. And this line has been a very fun, energetic line, and they don't get the most ice time, but they really try to take advantage of the time, the opportunities that they do get. As for so McDonald, 10 to 19 shot attempts, so 34.48 Corsi 4, Cunnin and Sturm, actually, so their Corsi 4 when they were on the ice together at all situations, they all had the same 10 to 19, 34.48 shot attempts. Looks like it's about 5 to 10, 5 to 11 actual shots. So that's kind of with 4-5-4 zone starts, and Sturm got some more defensive zone starts kind of taking place for the Eklund line there. So that line was okay tonight, but they they know their role. So for the actual defenseman, so leading the way for the defenseman, Nikita Hochuk, who I thought had a brutal night. And there's a conversation to be had about a Hochuk when the Sharks get healthy on the blue lines. He actually led the way with shot attempts 11 to 12, 47.83 Corsi 4. Addison was right behind him at 45.45 Corsi 4. Vlasic, 14-18, 43.75. Mukhamadullin, 15-22, 40.54. And then Ty Emerson, 13-25, 34.21. And then, Ruda was also at 35.9% Corsi for. So again, Sharks were outshot a fair amount. So the defensemen are going to kind of take the brunt of that. This is, I thought Ohotchuk was, especially in the first period, not great. And you kind of saw his ice time kind of dwindle as the game went on. And, guys like Shakir Mukhamadullin kind of got more and more of that ice time. I'm kind of looking at their ice time right now for the defense. Hochek only played 13:56. Mukhamadullin played 22 minutes. Ruda played 25 minutes, lead the way. Vlasic played 20 minutes. So, and then Emberson played a little under 20 minutes, and Addison about almost 17 minutes. So good to see Mukhamadullin kind of earning that opportunity right now. So, the Sharks got some young players coming, guys. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun when the Sharks are good again. I can't wait. So one piece to talk about when the Sharks are good, if he'll be here, is Tomas Hertl. So we're going to talk about Hertl, kind of a little bit of news that came out about him. So we'll do that here in just 1 second. Get started on your New Year's resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year, or maybe a month into the year. Factor's Ready to Eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef crafted, dietitian approved meals delivered right to your door with over 35 meals to choose from per week, including options for keto, calorie smart, vegan, or veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons. You'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Factor now offers loads of snack options like breakfast, smoothies, juice snacks, and more to keep me going no matter what's on the schedule. You can skip overpriced the takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just about 2 minutes, which means more time for you. If you need a special occasion with Valentine's Day coming up, Gourmet Plus is the perfect solution if you're looking for fast, upscale options done easy. So head over to factormeals.com/LockedOnNHL and use code LockedOnNHL to get 50% off. That's code LockedOnNHL at factormeals.com/LockedOnNHL to get 50% off. All right, Tomas Hertl. So came out that Hertl was going to talk to Mike Grier, or they plan to talk to Mike Grier this summer about kind of the future of the Sharks. And I know there's potential like, well, does this mean Hertl could be gone? Maybe, but I don't think we should kind of worry. I mean, I love Tomas Hertl. I want Tomas Hertl to end his career as a Shark. I think Tomas Hertl is somebody who we've seen the value of Hertl this season, right? Kind of leading the way for guys like Eklund, and Zetterlund and some of these young forwards. And I think Hertl's the way he plays, I think he's going to age kind of gracefully, right? He doesn't rely on his speed. I think he kind of plays a hard-nosed game, and I think when you surround Hertl with better quality pieces, as the Sharks are trying to do on work right now, I think you will see a really good Tomas Hertl coming down. We'll see Hertl continue to play well, but I think some people might have raised an eyebrow. He'll kind of talk. He doesn't want to talk this year or like during the season right now, kind of about his future. And I just have a hard time picturing Hertl getting traded for a couple reasons. And it should be right. I think Mike Grier has been really clear, as kind of, especially with these veteran guys, like, I want you to be here, but I will do right by you. And if Hertl feels like, maybe this isn't the right situation for me, I think Mike Grier will do everything in his power to make something happen. But there's a lot of kind of complicating factors. Number one, Hertl's contract. After the season, he's got 6 more years left on his deal at over $8 million. And yes, I know the cap's finally going to go up. I think that's a hard pill for a lot of teams to swallow right now, to add a 31-year-old center with 8 years left or 6 years left at over $8 million. The Sharks could retain, but they only have one retention slot left. And that's like, I think it's a tough ask to have the Sharks retain whatever money for the next 6 years, especially when you're going to have 1 more year Burns, 3 more years left of Carlson retention, and then let's throw another 6 years of not William Eklund, of Tomas Hertl retention. 2, he has a no movement clause. So, like, if you're the Sharks, you're not going to be able to kind of get the best bidders, right? You would assume it'd be a team kind of looking for Hertl to kind of come in and play that 2C position, assuming they have like a rock star 1C. They want Hertl to kind of come in and play the 2C as they're trying to maybe make a cup run, et cetera, et cetera. What are you going to get for Hertl that's going to make it worth it, right? I just don't think whatever you would get is going to be enticing enough to give up on a guy like Tomas Hertl. And then the next thing is, I think Hertl like genuinely loves it here, right? Go back to, when he scored in overtime and they had him out after the game. And I know the emotions are high right then and et cetera, and he's at home. But like he said, like, I love the Shark Tank. This is my home, right? He's been here his entire career. He's lived here. And I think he wants to be part of this next great Sharks team. I know this season's been tough, and the last couple seasons have been tough, and he's worn it, just how tough this season is going. But I think he just really loves it here, right? And hopefully Grier could sit down with him, pitch him on the future, and be like, look, Hertl, we got, look, Tommy, we got Eklund, it's coming up. Will Smith, top 4 pick. It's going to be here, could be here by the summer. He could be here by the summer, right? You're going to have probably at worst, a top 5 pick coming. You might even have the number 1 pick, right? Yeah, Shakir Mukhamadullin. You have a lot of pieces. And plus the Sharks are going to have cap space, right? They're going to have, close to $40 million in cap space. Be like, look, I mean, I know Grier said we're not going to kind of just blow cap space, but we're going to be smart about it. But like, I think there's a pathway to the Sharks being somewhat competitive here in the next couple seasons. And, I think if he can kind of sell them like, hey, I know it's tough right now, but better days are coming. And we want you to be one of those guys that help lead us to those better days. So I don't, like I said, I would be, Hertl's not getting traded at the trade deadline unless he literally comes out and says, I want to get traded, which I don't see him doing. In this offseason, I honestly think Grier and him are going to have a good heart-to-heart. That's what you want, right? You want that open door policy between Grier and Hertl. And I think, again, Grier played with her, like Grier's been a Shark. He didn't play with Hertl, sorry, but Grier's been a Shark. Like he's been part of this organization. He knows how much Hertl means to the Sharks, means to the Sharks fans. I mean, Hertl's beloved, right? Like, ask yourself, right? How much do you love watching Tomas Hertl play hockey? Because I love watching Tomas Hertl play hockey. I think every Sharks fan loves watching Tomas Hertl play hockey. And I really do think, like, yes, this year's tough, but I really do think brighter days are going to be getting here for San Jose sooner rather than later. And I think Hertl's still going to be a big piece of that. So I would not worry about Tomas Hertl going anywhere. I would be surprised if he goes unless he comes out of that meeting and says, I don't believe it, but I don't believe in the plan. I want to go somewheres. Get me out of here. But I think Grier can sell Hertl on the future. And again, I think Hertl just likes being here. So his family is here. I I just think Hertl likes being here. So that's going to be it for me today. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about the Sharks as they end their last game before the All-Star break, as they head down to Anaheim to play the Ducks. So if you want to catch that game, you can, if you're not watching on TV, you can always catch it on the SiriusXM app. Search Sharks. You catch every shot, every hit, every goal. So make sure, check out SiriusXM on the SXM app, search Sharks. I'll be back tomorrow to cover that game. Then we'll talk about Will Smith's Boston University or games against Boston University over the weekend. Will Smith, man, he's going to be really good. So we'll talk about those games kind of going forward. And then we got another draft profile coming out on Friday as well. So make sure you guys are following along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. You can follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. Instagram count, we're getting pretty close to 1K. So if you have not followed on Instagram, now's a great time to do it. So make sure you guys are following along. And follow me on Twitter at MyFryhole. Till tomorrow. Bye, friends.